Hello, my lovelies. Today we will read Percy's Found Family Odyssey, written by Stracker's Guy, Chapter 3. I apologized a lot to Dad and my brothers. Ganymede did the same, nervously trying to hold his husband's hand. I'm not mad, Dionysius would say, but it still sounded like he was, especially when his arms were crossed and he was pouting. I guess he did put a lot of effort into blessing that movie. The atmosphere finally lightened when we arrived at the fancy French restaurant. Wait, I'm in France. A regular fancy restaurant. But it still had food and I was starving. Ganymede continued apologizing, but Pollux and Castor seemed to have already forgotten. Their attention diverted to the prospect of food. Yeah, for ADHD brains. I picked up the menu and wanted to close it as the letters seemed to move, but they weren't moving. No, instead it was as if the menu was made up of a new language, French, a new, more difficult one. Shy and suddenly feeling more or less out of place, I wanted to ask Castor or Pollux about the menus, but they began to engage in conversation. I bit my lip. Ganymede caught my eyes, and something seemed to click with him as he spoke to Dionysius. Et mon amour, Percy connaît-il le français? None. I listened, not having a clue what either of the two gods were saying, but I knew they were speaking about me, and I felt immediately uneasy. Pouvez-vous commander pour lui? Je ne sais pas s'écrire mots. Bien. There was another smile from Ganymede as Dionysius spoke. I know what you kids like, so I'll order for you. And it was immediate relief. As the waiter came and took our orders, I even got to have a blue Pepsi. Back at the rented hotel, I was in my pajamas, nice and comfy, knowing I was going to be going out again tonight. Pollux and Castor were fighting Dionysius on staying, still wanting to hang out with their papa. Why do you get papa to yourself? Castor said, annoyed. Yeah, we want papa. Why don't you go out and eat alone? Pollux agreed. Dionysius' eye twitched, annoyed. Listen here, you two. I have my limits, and in about 5 of them, I'll order you both liver instead of pizza. They glared hard at one another, and I knew that even if they did have to serve it with liver, don't worry, guys, I'll share my pizza. My brothers grinned at me. Dionysius glared. The standoff between Dionysius and the twins continued, each party refusing to back down. The threat of liver seemed to hang in the air, and I couldn't help but wonder if my offer to share pizza would be enough to sway their decision. Finally, Pollux relented, his competitive spirit temporarily overshadowed by the promise of pizza. Fine, we'll stay in. Dionysius, annoyed it was even up for debate, replied, Great, I'll bring the pizza back after. Don't burn the place down, he said, all the while staring at me. Rude. It seemed the rule was only for me. It was only 3 times. Pollux on my left, Castor on my right. We watched the movie I got to pick about a space adventure. Pollux fell asleep on my shoulder, and Castor joined in sleeping on my lap. I guess it was payback, and I didn't mind rooting for the captain to save the ship alone. I was about almost done my movie when Dad walked in carrying a pizza box. Hey kids, time to eat pizza. Like the dead, they sprung to life at the mention of food. Pizza, is it pepperoni? No, it's vegetable, Dionysius commented. While I looked at the TV, the twins arguing around me, the movie almost being over. I had them put on extra broccoli too, Ganymede made sure to add with a smile. Pollux and Castor cursing some gods' names, my eyes still watching the TV. Percy, come, time to eat. I waved at him. Almost done, Dad. Percy, he warned, and I slowly got up, making sure my eyes didn't leave the screen. Dionysus seemed tired of waiting, took the remote from my hand and clicked it off. "Dad!" I shouted, upset, before the god picked me up and threw me over his shoulders. I pouted and picked my feet. "You can finish later, Percy. The pizza better be good." I finished munching on pizza as Dionysus spoke of a Ferris wheel located in the hotel. "Can we go now?" Pollux asked, and immediately I had a bad feeling. I didn't know for sure if I should go on it, as I had been warned what would happen if I was in the sky. Castor looked at me. "Want to come, Percy?" Dionysus seemed to think it was okay, but I did not want to chance it. I shook my head. "I'm okay." Pollux tried to drag me, and I stubbornly refused. "Pollux, if Percy doesn't want to go, you can't force him." "Fine," he said, annoyed, but I instantly changed my mind. "I'll go." Castor, feeling my reluctance, hugged me. "You're good, Percy. Pollux is just being a brat." "I'm not," Pollux said, sticking his tongue out. Ganymede was the one who nervously stood between us. "I'll wait here with Percy. You had something you wanted to pick up as well?" Ganymede hinted at. Dionysus nodded, seeming to need the reminding as it hit him. "Okay, let's go, Castor. Pollux, we're in our pajamas." Castor said, worried. "I like it," Pollux shouted. As they all shuffled outside, Ganymede waved as they left. "You can go if you like. I'm okay," I said, as if keeping him out of an important family memory. I also don't like those things. It makes me nervous. As if on cue, the god's hands shook. Maybe he too had a fear of heights. The clock clicked, and he stood unsure. Want some hot chocolate?" he asked, pulling out a golden chalice. I blinked at the familiar object. Going into my pocket and taking up mine, he smiled spread from his face. "I'm glad he gave it to you." "Huh?" "I gave it to Dionysius." I looked at the thing. An exact replica. As he pulled out the cup to his chest, he whispered "hot chocolate" and gave it back to me. And it seemed to be answering to him better than me. "Should I give it back?" I asked, because this seemed special between the relationship. "No," he smiled. "He doesn't need it anymore. I do delivery, and I always prioritize his Diet Cokes." A smile forms on his lips as he fondly recalled. "Ganymede, name's so powerful, Percy. Why not just call me Charlie?" "Chalice." Trying again, Chalice. "What does it mean to be disowned?" He began to sweat heavily. I starting from one place to another. "You see, well, Percy," he claimed, "you're the first." Great, my mind supplied. So no one knew, and I was just the luckiest person in the whole world to be the first person to be disowned by their godly parent. Ganymede, seeing my despair, spoke. "You know, I'm not good with heights. A bunch of years ago, Zeus kidnapped me and brought me to Olympus." I listened intently, as he sat back thinking about the story. "He stole me from my family, and my dad kinda sold me for a horse. A special horse, but a horse." He laughed, though clearly in pain. "I was granted the gift of immortality given this cup." He held out the hollow gesture. "And Zeus, he got through bored of me. I felt so alone, and I felt terrible for him. Your dad was the only one to thank me every time I gave him a drink. He always spoke to me as like I was an equal. His words were honest. Then he offered me sweet fruits or gifts. He said like it was only yesterday. I'm okay now that Zeus lost interest. I'm happy that I was sold for a horse. I've been happy ever since." He spoke with a big smile before it faded. "Still, I feel bad since he got sent here for messing with a nymph. I know Zeus is just mad. I like Dionysus more than him, and that he cares for his kids unlike the rest of them. Ganymede admitted. I filled the cup up with water and gave it to him. The god accepted the gesture. Dad's happy too. I see when he's with you. I don't get why he's claimed me, but I'm happy he did, giving me a family as great as you guys. I'm happy to have you too, Percy. Excitement came through the door, with the hands of Castor and Pollux, both with little boxes in their hands. As they ran to me, Dionysus had a little box in his hand as well, before handing it to me stoically. I accepted the small box, tilting my head to the side curiously. Thanks, Dad. I opened it carefully, unsure of what could possibly be inside the white box. As soon as it popped open, I saw it. A cupcake. It was decorated with blue and purple icing to look like the galaxy. It was cool. Castor had one decorated with things from the musical we've seen. Pollux had one decorated with chocolate and a twist of gold. Confused as a candle was placed in each one, I finally asked, snapping out of confusion. Why? Papa can only come once a year, Castor said. So we celebrate our birthday on that day, Pollux finished. I couldn't help but be surprised I was included. It's not I laughed nervously, unsure of how to finish the conversation. Castor patted my back. We know, it's not ours either. Papa always forgets which day we were born on. Pollux laughed. Ganymede flushed and waved his hand in front of him. I don't forget which day, I just get confused on when the day is. Laughter erupted from the twins. Before I smiled, we all blew out the candles. Despite the birthday confusion, the day ended. Perfect. Dionysus tucked me in, and Castor and Pollux fell asleep the moment they hit the bed. I was tired, exhausted from such a full day, and learning about the cruel world of the gods made me wonder why anyone would choose immortality given all the bad effects. Why do you like Ganymede? I asked, knowing Dionysius wanted to spend as much time as possible with his husband. He could have ignored me, but instead he sat down beside me as I lifted my head. Dionysius chuckled, as if recalling a funny memory. He made me laugh, he said. It must have been quite an accomplishment, considering the challenges of living forever. Perseus, Dad told me, find someone who does that for you. I smiled, thinking about how much Pollux and Castor made me laugh. Ganymede leaned against the doorway. Walking into the room, he gave both the boys a kiss on the forehead. Night, Pollux, Castor. I'll see you soon, he whispered. Dionysus left the room, and Ganymede placed me back in bed. How did you fall in love with Dad? Ganymede looked back and forth before whispering. I tripped. Hebe was being childish, watching me roll across the ground. I almost broke my chalice. When I got up, it was your dad who took my hand. Almost drowning in laughter, he asked if I had a nice trip. That was embarrassing. I chuckled to myself, and Ganymede joined in. It was a joke older than the gods. I couldn't believe he said it. He added with a fond smile, It was nice to meet you, Percy Vinum. I blinked at the name. It was the last name your father has, I have, and your brother's. If you like. Thanks, Papa, I said. And he replied, Sleep well, Percy, giving me a kiss on the forehead before sleep included me. Dionysus POV. The kids are finally all put to bed, and I finally had some alone time with Ganymede. I knew he liked the kids, I did too. It's why I always favoured them. But having just one day a year with your husband was challenging, especially when we occasionally cheated on those rules. Gods were never good with time. So, how did you like Percy? I asked, deep in thought. It's a shame, really. I meant what I said about adopting the kid. Percy, for real? I asked again. Just one day, Ganymede popping up at camp saying, "This one is ours now." I always wanted one. We had two with the twins, so we had to scratch that off. I know, Ganymede, but really, more than two of us might have ended in disaster. You don't have a bunch of kids fighting for your attention. It builds resentment. I've seen it again and again. I lied back, and Ganymede rested on my chest. I still want one. You have three, I argued. Not a claimed one, he pouted, realizing how childish he was acting. He buried his head against my chest. I could see how this desire ate him up, and I sighed. Knowing what it was rather unfair. I got three kids, and he had yet to have one of his own. I sat up, scratching my head. Take your pick. Claim them. Really? Yep, anything for you, Ganymede. Please, he clapped his hands together. I spoke of just warning, just caution. If you pick Percy, he will be even more overpowered. Got it, do you? It's not like I can offer much. I have a chalice, and, I knew. Besides his immortal golden cup, he was also the god of love and desire. While it only worked on couples with the same sex, having one of my kids become the child of Ganymede wouldn't be the same as having a child of Aphrodite. But I tried not to think of it too much. He glowed lightly, a bronze color before. I felt it, the claim. A mischievous smile on his face gave it away. You didn't, I said, more in surprise than anger. He laughed as if it were the funniest thing. I did, he confirmed. And just like that, he had claimed all three boys. Pollux, Castor, and Percy. Fuck. It was done now, immediately not caring that all his boys were claimed, and continued with the casual demeanor. I had a knack for adapting to unexpected situations, especially when it came to the whims of my husband. Ganymede chuckled at my disbelief. Don't worry, love. It's a win-win situation. The more powerful, the better, right? He tried to reason. I would have to watch all three boys very, very carefully. Would they be getting the strings of lovers? Fuck, did I have to give them the talk sooner, or would they be obsessed with beverages? This whole claiming thing was really going to get out of hand if the other gods figured it out. Gods teaming up together to make a super kid with incredible powers. No one was dumb enough to do, besides Ares. Still, I played it cool. I simply shrugged. As long as they're happy and safe, I didn't mind. Besides, it's not like I could have stopped you even if I wanted to. In the quiet moment that followed, Ganymede leaned in, and we shared a brief but loving kiss. It was a gentle exchange of affection, and a silent celebration of the newfound connection between us. The room seemed to hold its breath for that fleeting moment. As we parted, a warm smile lingered on both our faces. I said in my usual nonchalance, simply raised an eyebrow. Well, aren't we a couple of lovebirds? Just don't make a mess in my hotel room. Ganymede blushed. In response to my remark, Ganymede blushed, and a playful smile danced on his lip. Oh, don't worry, Dionysius. We'll keep it tidy, he said, his voice laced with teasing tone. The atmosphere remained light-hearted, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of warmth and acceptance in their presence. For once, things are peaceful. So, this was book 3 of The First Disowned Child of the Gods. See you next week for part 4.